happy to have from Gannon Associates Insurance, Brandy Franklin. She's an accounts manager in the benefits department. Good morning, Brandy. Thanks for coming in early.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you. You nominated United Way of Bradford County for a grant through Westfield Insurance. Westfield Insurance, they took care of my home for many, many years. I'm familiar with them. How's that all work, the grant program?
So we are one of 50 agencies that are able to nominate a nonprofit organization. So because of our close relationship with United Way, that's who we chose, and we were able to give them quite a nice grant.
You have a special relationship with United Way. Let's talk about your participation there.
I do. This is my second year serving on the board of directors, so I work with them closely, and I also am a part of the allocations committee. So a big part of that is, where do the funds go? What agencies do we give those funds to? How much do we grant them? So it's a nice process that takes some time. We meet probably 3 or 4 times in the year to do that.
We love Carrie. We love working with Carrie. What's your relationship with her like?
She's fantastic.
She's a doll.
She is a doll. She is on top of the game. She knows so much. She knows everyone. She's just fantastic. So glad to have her and be led by her.
How did they react, or how did she react when you shared the news that they had won the grant?
I wish I could have seen her. I had to call her, obviously, because of the times that we're in. She was so excited. It was surprising for her, but the amount of the grant was also a surprise, so we're able to look at that and where those funds can go throughout the Relief Response Fund.
Do you know specifically how the money will be used, or has that been determined yet?
We haven't determined it yet, so we have so many different amounts of funds that we have, so we are just looking through that to see which organizations need it, which agencies need it, and how we should disperse it.
As a board member, where do we sit? How has United Way worked its way through this pandemic, and how has it specifically affected that organization?
We have done really well we continue our meetings. Our allocations meetings were via Zoom. We did have a board meeting on via Zoom as well. So we're able to operate and function as we have, just differently. It's nicer to see people in person, obviously.
Yeah.
But with that, we're able to still have our discussions, and for 2020, 2021, where those funds can go.
Let's talk about the insurance agency specifically.
Sure.
I know that whenever I call, and I've had some needs, I guess everybody has, the person always lets me know that they're working from home, and if they hadn't said that, I'm not sure I would know. It's kind of seamless, and obviously smarter people than me have worked that all out. In what ways has the pandemic affected operations at Gannon's?
So the day that we found out that we were going into the red, we quickly, our operations team, and obviously Mark and Max Gannon, were able to come up with a way for all of us to go home. We all had to go home that day. It was loading up computers, loading up phones, and by Monday we were up and running. If we had any IT issues, people would come to try to help us with those, but we were at home, and it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people did say they would never know that we were home when we were taking calls.
It's absolutely true, and you got such a beautiful office. I'm sure there were those that really wanted to be working.
Yeah, I was one of those people.
That break. I have kids that are working from home in their different jobs, and their sons are with them, and they're all saying the same thing. Please let me go back to work.
It's a whole different world.
I'm not sure everybody out there knows just how much the agency has grown since back in 1973 when it started. Todd and I were just out of high school working our way onto the Ohio State campus in 73, and now 12 locations in multiple states. Why is that network important to whoever's listening this morning here in the Valley? Do they just think about Gannon's as an Athens or a Towanda institution?
I think some do, but I think knowing that we are so wide, we're in New York and we're all the way down to Shippensburg, so almost on the Maryland border, servicing people all over the land, especially on our agro-services side, which is our sister agency, which is the dairy and the farm side.
Right.
So they're serving 48 states. So we are everywhere. We're a lot of places, and so I do think we're much wider than a local agency, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's important for the Valley audience to know that. In the releases that Kyle sends out and that come from the agency, the word independent insurance agency is always stressed. Why is that important?
It's important because we have a relationship with so many different carriers. So we can look at different markets for people, depending on where you are, if it's a small business, if it's personal lines, if it's benefits. We're able to work with different carriers to make sure that people are getting the best coverage for the best price.
Well, we certainly get great service at our
glad to
home
hear
and in
that.
our business from Gannon's, and we certainly appreciate the sponsorship of the island. It's what makes these visits that we're having this morning and have done for the last, I don't know, several years, makes them possible because of your sponsorship. You're so involved actively in a lot of good things in the community, Brandy. So thanks for coming in and telling your story about the United Way grant. Congratulations once
Thank
again.
you.
I know a lot of work went into that. Keep doing good things, will you?
Thank you. Thank you
Nice
for
to
having
meet you
me.
this
Nice to meet
morning.
you as well. Thank you.
Brandy Franklin is our guest. She came to us from Gannon Associates Insurance, and in a few moments, we'll be joined by the 3 Bradford County Commissioners and lots of guests this morning as we look ahead to how those businesses have handled and will continue to handle their individual stories through the pandemic. Todd Bowers with me this morning, and we'll be right back.